All right, first and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Give a double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. Give a double honors to all the brothers and sisters. One second, let me take this out. All right, first and foremost, give honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Give a double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And give a double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites that's coming in and week out to prophesy the destruction and the dismantling of a wicked kingdom that we look upon as the Babylonian mystery system. And it behooves the so-called black man to return back to his God and return back to who he is from a nationalistic standpoint of view. And that you nations yourself, you're going to have to bow down and worship the Creator just as well. So we just going to come off the dome today. We're going to be talking about how the president election is going on. And you got all these people, they voting, to either keep the Democrats in office or they're voting to put the Republicans in office. And contrary to popular belief, people don't really know that the country is at war, see? But the war that's being fought right now in this country is the war at the ballot table. But eventually they're gonna take down the ballots, they're gonna stop using the ballots and they're gonna start picking up their guns again. Because see, America and the European common market system represents the Tower of Babel of old. See, when all the people was at in one speech and one thought. See, matter of fact, let's get that. Let's turn to the 10th chapter of the book. I think it's the 10th chapter of the book of Genesis, right? The 11th chapter of the book of Genesis, and I'm going to start reading at the first verse. It says, and the whole earth was one language and one speech. And what does that mean? That means that the people that was around about during that time, they was all implicit in disobeying the Creator. See, because during that time, the people around the world, they was following after who? Nimrod, see? And contrary to popular belief, this is what the world follows today. Because the European common market system, see, they brought on racism in the country. And all of these folks, the Russians, the Poles, the French, the Germans, the Swedish, all these European descendant nations, they was all implicit when they was coming to get the black man from Africa. And they was creating what you would call white supremacy in the earth. See, they was all in one speech, and they was all under one mindset, right? Because they too was following after the traditions and the mindset that was established by Nimrod, which is the so-called black man. See? Because when he came on the scene, What was he doing? He was conquering people. And one of the ways that the so-called white man was conquering folks, he was conquering people through what? Through racism. See? They galvanized themselves through racism. They went around the world preaching what? White supremacy amongst the dark races, whether whatever nationality that they were. See? So it says, it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, they found a place in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, let us go and make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. So what was they doing? They was building. So what was because during this time, these were so-called black folks that was ruling, or what they would call the Hamites. But this is Ham, Shem, and Japheth, see? What was they doing? They was building a society and a social order that was contrary to the Creator, see? So it says, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and it says, and they dwelt there, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So what was the city and the town that they was creating? They created what you would call the Babylonian mystery system. This is what they created. And what did America create when she came on the scene? What did the Euro Gentiles create when they came on the scene? They created what? The European common market system, and later on, the Europeans that came from Europe, they created what you would call America. See, the land of the free, the home of the brave. And who were some of the people that the people was following after? They was following after these different presidents and things of this nature. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, see, Abraham Lincoln, and so on and so on. But what philosophy was they bringing? They was bringing forth racism. See, that's what they was doing. You know, a lot of people, they like to talk about Germany, how Hitler was a racist and thing, or he wanted to bring forth a master race, but the Caucasian in this country, they don't want to tell you that they was funding him. See, they was funding him. Where did he get racism from? If we're gonna be technical, they all believe that, because these folks, they believe in white supremacy. America don't want to tell you that Hitler, some of their scientists used to come down here before the war started, and that they created what you would call the eugenics program. And what was the purpose of them creating the eugenics program? The whole purpose of them creating the eugenics program was to sterilize the people that they deemed as feeble-minded, right? That they was the scum of the earth. They wanted to stop them from reproducing. And this is later on, this is where you get what you would call the birth control from. See, Margaret Sanger was funded by America to create something that would sterilize the so-called Native Americans and the so-called black man. See, this is what they was doing. And then later on today, the world today, everybody is a part of that. You got women over here in Europe, they're fighting for the right to be able to choose the right to abort their babies or not. But where did they get that stuff from? They got it from the evils of the leadership of these different countries. When we talk about Christianity, when we talk about Islam or Judaism, where are all these tenets coming from? A lot of these practices that they practicing today comes from the old Babylonian mystery system, y'all. We talk about how the Jews was mistreated in Germany. But here it is, the Jews and a lot of these different religious people, they put our people in slavery. So it was a period of time when they was what? In one man and one speech. See? They believed in racism in the country. And the Jews that came over here to this country just as well, they believed in it too. They took the so-called black man, so-called Africa, which is the natural and the spiritual seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they exploited him. See? They exploited him off of the talents that he had. Whether he was good at basketball, whether he was good at singing, or whatever he was good at, they exploited him. See? We worked the cotton fields in this country. And it was a long period of time, 200 and something years, over 200 and something years, that we was not even paid in this country. And then when we was free in so-called 1865, right? In 1865 says so-called, but we were so-called free in 1865. They didn't liberate us. They didn't put us back in our country. They eventually integrated us into their society. And look at us today. See, we're following after the traditions of the heathens. We calling ourselves Christians now. And we out-Christian the so-called white people that created Christianity. So when it says, and the whole earth was one language and one speech, this is what we're looking at today with the country. Everybody is a Democrat or a Republican. They following the traditions that was laid down. See? Everybody is at the ballot box. Everybody is at the ballot box throughout the week, voting to bring forth a new president or a new person that's gonna sit in office. But are these people righteous? No, they not. They're gonna continue to go to these different countries and ransack the indigenous people for their natural resources. They're going to continue to set up puppet governments in these different countries that's going to control the masses. And what do you think that the masses is going to do? So what is that? When you set up a government in another man's country and he has to report to you about the doings of the country. That's modern day slavery. See, that's what that is. And all of you folks is implicit. Even the so-called Negro. That's why we said that the so-called Negro has to return back to his God. And you nations, you're going to have to repent for what you're doing, or you're going to be destroyed, see? But that's going to happen anyway, because, see, when Moses came to Pharaoh and told him to turn away from what he was doing to the nation of Israel, he didn't want to do it, see? So these nations, they're going to be destroyed anyway, because they're thinking that what it is that they're doing is righteous. It says, and the whole earth was one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, go, let us build us a city and a town whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, and lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So what does that mean? That they wanted to make their mark in history. See, they wanted to be remembered. And Nimrod is remembered even to this day, y'all. See, he's remembered. When you dealing with Christmas, Easter, Sunday worship, you're worshiping the tenets that he created back during the Babylonian mystery system, where you was worshiping the sun, moon, and stars. See? When he was running around conquering the world, or the known world during that time, that's what you doing. You do the same thing. Be all you can be in the army. Rather, whatever nation you come from, you could be French, you could be Polish, you could be German or whatever. You have taken on his spirit, see? It says, and Yah came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And Yah said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language, and this they began to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So what was they doing? They started to look at themselves as gods, see? They're not worshiping the Creator. They worshiping who? Themselves as gods. And who is the chief god that they worshiping, which is Nimrod? And this is what the heathens do today. Under the cloak of what? Politics and religion and social living. The people ain't worshiping the Creator today. See, they worship Elon Musk. They worship Michael Jordan, basketball stars, politicians. See, religious leaders and things of this nature. And they go to war for these people. The people that's voted for Donald Trump, who are they? They're his soldiers. The people that's voted for Joe Biden, they're his soldiers. And they ready to go to war for these people. And this is why the Creator is going to do what? This is why the Creator is going to destroy America and the European common market system, because why? They fulfilled their lot. What they were supposed to do is grab the so-called Negro, which is the nation of Israel, and bring him over here and put him in bondage. Go, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another. And ain't that's what we looking at today? When we look at the nations, how they fighting against each other at the ballot box. See, They don't understand each other no more because the white supremacy that they brought forth on the scene. The Creator is dismantling that. See, the Creator is dismantling the system that was created during the time when America was created. See, because back then you didn't have no Democrats and Republicans and things of this nature. See, so now you see the people today that they're not speaking the same language no more. And what was the language that they were speaking during the 1900s, the 1700s, the 1800s? See, and now what they speaking now, what is that? They were speaking white supremacy. It was a time in this country where they hang a so-called black man, and they sent out postcards, just like we watch the championship fights today. You got the press conference leading up to the fight, and then when the fight starts, everybody else is gonna come. They had a press conference to do what? To promote the fight. That's what the press conference is for. The press conference is the situation that promotes the fight. And then when they get through, they start promoting the fight months ahead. And then when the actual fight started, then the people show up. And this is what they was doing when they was hanging us on trees in the country. But because before they start hanging you on trees, they sent out what? Postcards, letters to different countries and things of this nature. A black buck is about to be hung because he whistled at a white woman. A Negro is about to be hung in the state of North Carolina because he stole 2 chickens from his slave master, or he tried to leave the plantation. He finna be hung today. And the people, they used to gather around. They used to come from every state to watch a so-called black man being hung in this country. This is the speech that we're talking about. So now the Creator has come down and see the confusion that's amongst the earth, and now he has done what? He has confounded the people. Now they not speaking one language. During the Berlin conference, when they was running around biting up everything in Africa, they came together to control the natural resources in Africa. And now you see what? It's war all over the place. It's war between the indigenous people because they're fighting for the gods that conquered them, see? And who is the gods that conquered them? It's these so-called white folks that came and took over, see? Different parts of Africa to control the natural resources and the people. And what is the other confusion that they done brought on the scene? They done destroyed the air. They done destroyed the water through their technology. You got us catching cancer from the food that we eat. You got us getting cancer and all these different elements from the food, from the air. See? What else is the confusion that they done brought on the scene? All of this stuff that we seeing on TV. We seeing men dressing up like women. Women dressing up like men. Women fighting men. Men fighting women. There's no structure in the home no more. There's not a balance in the home no more. The man and the woman is bucking for what? For supremacy in their own household. The kids is out of order. Kids today are killing their parents. Parents today are killing their kids. It was just a thing on the news where a family, because they lost their jobs, they decided to kill all their kids, including themselves, because they didn't want to deal with the despair of losing their jobs. So the mother and the father took it upon themselves to kill their kids first and kill themselves. So this is what we're looking at today. This is the confusion that's going on. So that's why we said that the world today is living in dark times. See, they living in dark times. This is the dark. See, America is going back into what? The dark ages. Because dark ages, the Europeans is going back into the dark ages because the dark ages symbolizes what? No light. See? There's no more light in Babylon no more. See? The world that we living in today is a world of confusion. See? It's a bowl of confusion now. The young women today, they dress, they can wear anything they want to wear. They go outside and they have these dresses on and you can see they behind. See? They don't care. A young 19-year-old girl was out there in New York and the guy tried to talk to her and she didn't want to talk to him. And what did he do to her? He killed her. They got into an argument, but he ended up killing the young girl because the girl didn't want to give him his telephone. And see, things like that is happening. A guy did 25 years in prison. He get out and he got an opportunity to be on the Joe Rogan show. And he was telling his story, how he was a head buster in the streets. And he went to prison for robbery and things of this nature. He had to do half of 50 years. He get out of jail and the next thing you know, he goes back to jail for chopping the guy up in his apartment. And then you can see him on camera on multiple occasions bringing forth the body parts out of the apartment. See, the love of many has done what? Wax cold. See, there's no love in the society no more. That's why the Creator is judging America. It's because America is nothing but a big old hypocrite. She lied every 4 or 8 years during the presidency. She tell the poor that she's going to take care of the poor, and she doesn't take care of the poor. She's charging astronomical prices for food that she's stealing from other countries. You want to go get some chicken or something like that, you got to spend almost X amount of dollars just to go buy a bag of chicken. And the chicken that you eat today is not even, it's poisonous. The food today, she say that grapes shouldn't have seeds in them. So she shrink the seeds from its natural size. So now you got these little bitty small seeds in the grapes. So it seems like it doesn't even have no seeds in it. This is the society and social order that we living in today. What the Creator says in the 4th chapter, I believe the 17th verse of the book of Daniel, where it says what? That These are the bases of men. And the bases of men, they don't care about society. They hate humanity, right? And they always wake up every morning upon their bed to do evil upon the people. One second. Let's turn to Peter. Turn to Peter. The book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, and the 8th verse. It says, be sober, be vigilant, right? Because the world today is what? They drunk. They drunk with the wrath of her fornication. See? So the Creator is telling us to do what? To be vigilant. So you got to be watching the news and understand how that relates to Scripture. But a lot of these folks, they don't even watch the news. Because everything that's going on in the country, they believe that they gods is going to take care of it. Donald Trump is a god to the people. Joe Biden is a god to the people. Your mayors, your senators is a god. And they pray to these gods. They pray now that Donald Trump get in office so that he can save America. See? So these folks are what? They drunk. See? They not vigilant about what's going on. Because it doesn't matter what president that you put in office, or what senator, or what mayor that you put in office, all of them are doing, they all bought and paid for, and they all have an agenda. Donald Trump said, let's make America great again. See? But when was America ever great? In his mind said America was great when she was proud to be a racist. See? A bigot in the country. Where the lower class bowed their heads down when the upper class was walking down the street. That's when America was great. When the black man had to bow his head down, he couldn't look at a white person in their eyes because it was considered what? Reckless eyeballing. Or when you can hang a person. See, this is what they did to Emmett Till. They smashed his face in because he thought that a certain type of white woman was dainty to look upon. A 10-year-old kid. They smashed his face in. Well, they couldn't even open the casket. But his mama opened the casket anyway because why? They had to see. They wanted the people to see what monsters these people were. And Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and all that, rather it's a black president too. Barack Obama was a globalist. He worked for the global elites to go around the world, conquering the world. Barack Obama in his presidency, he dropped more bombs than any president that was in office. So just because he's a so-called black man, don't mean that that he don't have the spirit of the devil on him. See? And what else that he was doing that was messing with the people? He took the law. Don't ask, don't tell. Now you got all these men out here want to dress like women. They want to go into the schools and they want to teach these kids about transgenderism. See? And that's why Peter was saying be sober and be vigilant. Because see, a lot of us, we drunk with the teaching and the philosophy of the country. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And how he gonna do that? He's gonna devour you in what? In your life. See? How you ruling, how you setting up governments in the earth. Because you're thinking that you're doing something that's righteous, but really it's unrighteous. It's unrighteous. Because it was a time where the black man was ruling. And he didn't rule righteously either. He conquered people. He conquered people of his own skin tone, and he conquered people that wasn't his skin tone. And what did the so-called white man do when he came in power? He did the same thing. This is what I'm saying, is that the people, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they under the same speech at this time. And they still are even to this day. What did Nimrod bring on the scene? He brought on the scene what? Conquering people. And he set himself up as a god. And people was worshiping him as a god. And believe it or not, your pastors, your imams, your rabbis, they worshiping him even to this day. They have taken the so-called Negro's document, which is the Bible, and they have done what? They have deceived the masses. They got you believing that Jesus is God, see? Because they done manipulated our history. But in actuality, you worshiping Tammuz and Nimrod. That's what you doing. And that's why it says that the adversary is a roaring lion, which is the devil, seeking whom he may devour. He gonna get in your household and put it in your mind that the white man is more superior over everybody else. And then you're gonna start setting up, because here in this country, you couldn't even go in certain neighborhoods. We couldn't even go in certain neighborhoods in this country. They had up signs in the country, no colors allowed. They had white folk fountains and black folk fountains. They destabilized the so-called black community, and they still doing it today. The so-called black man does not control the economics, the education, the leadership in his community. They're controlling it. That's why you got chaos in the country. The kids are out of order. The parents is out of order. Because we're following after the traditions that was laid upon at the Tower of Babel. book of Joel, the 2nd chapter and the 2nd verse. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. See? And what is that? That's confusion in the air. Because when it's cloudy, you can't really see the sun. The sun is not shining. That's like on the news and say it's going to be cloudy today. It's not really going to be sunny. And what does the light? What does the light symbolizes? The light symbolizes what? The illuminated ones that is controlling the earth. See? So now the creator had the light upon the earth where these people was ruling the world unrighteously, and now it's dark and gloominess. The nations around the world, they gonna fight each other. They are fighting each other. People don't even understand that. You folks, you don't even understand that we're in World War III as we speak. You're in World War III. The reason why you're not running and ducking and scared of fear is because the bombs they've been dropped over here. But the missiles, they coming. While these folks is running around here, whether they going to work or they going to the park, they doing exercises, America has their missiles pointed at the other countries that they are enemy to, and the enemies to them got their guns, which is Russia and their allies. They got their missiles pointed at America. See, so the world today is at war. And America is at war with each other. Because America has established herself as Nimrod of old, which is the beacon of light. See? Where everybody want to come to America and be just like her. When she was proud to be a racist, the Germans, the French, the Poles, all these people came over here and they took on that same type of spirit. The land of the free, the home of the brave. See? They lied in history. When they took down the Germans or the Nazis, they allowed the scientists to come over here and live in certain parts of the countries over there in South America. So that they could continue to build up the atomic the atomic energy programs that they had set up in the country. A lot of the scientists and stuff, they didn't get prosecuted for what they did to the Jews in Germany. They was allowed to come over here and do what? To help America build up what? Their nuclear programs in the country. So what? That's hypocritical. And then you talk about Hitler in history. But here it is. This is what you was doing. So it says a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So what does that mean? That means that the Creator is about to do what? Take them off the scene. Because they didn't bring forth righteousness upon the earth. And that's the same thing dealing with America. That's the same thing dealing with the other nations. They didn't bring forth righteousness and judgment upon the face of the earth. These people are racist even to this day. They destabilize our neighborhoods, and then when we come and try to live amongst them, what do? They flee from us because they look at us as savages. But then when we pick up the Bible and then we start judging them out of the Bible, then they want to talk about brotherhood and all this type of stuff. But where's the brotherhood when you allow other people from other countries to come over to our neighborhoods and set up businesses, and they take all the money and the wealth out of the community? Where's the brotherhood when you come into our neighborhoods and set up your colonial educational system in the country and teach us false history? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. The Civil War that was fought in the country was on the behalf of freeing the slaves in 18. See, all of that stuff is lies, man. Right? How the North was fighting for the freedom of black folks in the country. See, these are the lies that they are telling throughout history. Where's the brotherhood in that? Where's the brotherhood when you had these guys, these crackers out there? I forgot what state they was at, but they set up this thing where they was grabbing black folks. They worked for the police department and they was grabbing black folks, whether it was women, young men, and they was taking them down in the dungeon. And they was sexually assaulting these people. And they was torturing the people. See? And you had black folks that was a part of it. Until these people started to talk about this stuff for years, and they knew that they was doing it. But when they got exposed, then they shut it down. I think it was called the dungeon, but they called the police force that was doing it the Goon Squad, see? So here it is, they talk about black folks being in gangs, GDs, BDs, and Bloods and Crips. But here it is, these white folks, they create gangs in these police departments. What is the Goon Squads? I remember when I was a young kid, they had a gang in our neighborhood. They was up under the BGs, but they called themselves Goon Squads. And what was they doing in the neighborhood? They was wreaking havoc in the neighborhood. See? That's what they was doing. And what was these white folks that was calling themselves Goon Squads on the police department was doing to black folks? They was snatching black folks off the street, torturing them and things of this nature. They was taking black women down in the dungeon, making them taking their drawers off and doing cavity searches on women. And who was involved in that? Because the white boys that got prosecuted for that, they got 20-something years for it. They wasn't the only ones that was doing that. Because they not allowed to do something like that unless it comes from the top. So the top had these people to open up a warehouse in the community that was grabbing so-called suspects of crimes and bringing them into the dungeon where these people was doing all thinkable things to them. And it wasn't just white folks that was involved, it was black folks that was doing it too. Because why? Because they worship the gods of their slave master. So that's why the Creator says what? The day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. See, that's why the country today is in what? It is in grave despair. The country today is in grave despair, y'all. See? You owe $32 trillion. America is not gonna be, she can't get out of the war of the battle of Armageddon if she wanted to. She owed $32 trillion. $32 trillion. Who you think she owed that money to? She owed that money to who? The Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church is the fourth beast of the seventh chapter of the book of Daniel. See? She owed that money to the beast. So it don't even matter. She gonna go to war. And a lot of you folks is gonna be ushered into the third world's war, and you gonna be put to death. But let me hit you with something. It's gonna be a civil war on the shores of this country again. They're already doing it. What do you think that the Democrat and the Republican Party is? It's the spirit of the old North and the South. I gotta read up on that history. See, the North and the South is still fighting against one another. Because the South in today's standards is what? The Republican Party, and the North is who? The Democrats. See? And they're fighting for the mindset and the rulership over the people and the country. That's why the so-called black man, see, the Creator said in the 18th chapter or the 7th, I think it's the 18th chapter of the book of Revelation, come out of her, my people, and be not partakers of her plagues. The migrants coming to this country is a plague to America. See, her borders, her precious borders is being what? They're being overtaken with other people. Why these people coming over here? Because you destabilized their country. You created wars in their country. You set up false leaders in their country to do your bidding. And the people that they was putting they own people that they was putting their foot on their necks, they rose up against them, and now you have what? You got war in the country. And those people from 30 and 40 years or years that you've been fighting against them, now they coming over here to the country, and you can't get rid of them. And they still coming over here. Donald Trump in office is not going to get rid of the migrants. See? You ain't gonna be able to build a wall and you know, stop the migrants from coming over here. You ain't gonna be able to do that. They still coming. That's why a lot of us see we got to get out the way, because these are the plagues and the pestilence that is going on with the country. This is judgment by the Creator. Right? But these folks here, man, they don't even see it. They don't see it. But some of them do see it. And they trying to stop it from happening, but see, it's not going to happen. Just like the Creator judged the nation of Israel for their disobedience, why the so-called white man don't think that he's going to be judged? Why you so-called white folks think that y'all not going to be judged for the sins that you have committed in the earth? because you prideful. See, a lot of you cats are prideful, and you worship your American flag like it's a god. See, but your idols is gonna be crushed in this third world war. Joel, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd verse. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as a garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Because what is the garden? What is the garden of Eden? That symbolizes what? The earth. And why is it a fire that is amongst the people? It's because why? Because they destroyed the earth. The water is bad. The air is bad. The food is bad. The mindset of the people is bad. They let people like Sexy Red be on television educating our kids. They let people like this new rapper, Boss Man, I can't think of his name, but they got him pictured on television with him having crack scales and things of this nature. This is the mindset that they have in the communities, destabilizing the community. They don't put that stuff on their televisions with their kids, but they put that stuff on our televisions. And that's why the Creator is putting fire on these folks, is because fire symbolizes what? The destruction that is coming upon the country. America owes $32 trillion. They $32 trillion in debt. They're not going to be able to pay that off. And who are they in debt to? They're in debt to what? The Roman Catholic Church. That's who they're in debt to. And not just America, all these elites. The DuPonts, the Gettys, all these, they all in debt to the beast. Is because the beast is the one that is doing the bidding for the devil. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as the horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of a fire that devoureth the stubble. As a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. See? And what is that? That symbolizes what? War. See? You people is finna go to war, whether you like it or not. Because if you're not under the seal of the Creator, you're gonna be destroyed. And it's gonna be a horrible death amongst the people. You're gonna wish for death, and death is gonna pass you by. That's the 9th chapter of the book of Revelation. Let's get that. The 9th chapter of the book of Revelation, and I'm going to start reading at the 6th verse. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And see, that's what's going to happen to a lot of you. That's what happened in World War, what's that? World War I and II. People sitting out here on the streets, they would sit their guts hanging all out, and they still living. Because that was the judgment of the Creator. You can't go to another man's country and think you're going to conquer their country and don't think that you're going to die. All those folks that went over there and fought against Germany, they thought that they was doing something righteous. See? And one of the reasons why they did it because they were scared that the Germans was eventually going to come over here to America and conquer America. But at one point, they was calling Hitler, which was a racist himself, they was calling him what? The most magnificent man in history. Because he was on the Time Life magazine before in this country. Look at America with her hypocritical self. When she went to war against Germany, they had up signs in this country talking about black folks can't come into their stores because of the color of their skin. This is the hypocrisy of America. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I just wanted to come out here for a minute and preach the gospel to the people, see, because that's what we need to be listening to, because America is going to be destroyed. With that being said, death to America.